Hi, welcome back. This particular edition, I'm going to talk about the issues with TNA specifically and what can be done to fix. Number one, biggest problem they have is their inability to really move away from just taping. They need to move to different circuits, get new fans, get new people interested, get new partners with broadcasting and media and advertising. They need to sell their product more across the United States and Canada and throughout the world than just staying in Florida. For being a Florida-based operations and trying to sell tapes across the rest of the United States and whatnot, it's a waste of time and money. Back in the 80s, Vince was able to do that and make a lot of money, but Vince also stayed away from just staying in one place. He didn't stay in New York. He went all over the United States, Canada, and the world. And all the little indie, little small leagues before Vince, they did the same thing. So, I mean, staying in Florida, it's a waste of time. Number two, you need to get rid of Sting, Hogan, Flair, a lot of the older guys. I'm sorry that if it comes off the wrong way, I'm a fan of many of them too. I'm not a Hogan fan by any means, but I do respect, as from what I said before, his accomplishments and what he does do for the business. Using him part time, yes. Full time, no. He's too old. Some of these guys are just too old, and how do you feel if one of them just took a heart attack just because of their sheer age and inability to work the perfect schedule that's really needed to get the business over? Just get rid of them, give them their honors, let them retire gracefully, do what you need to do, but start to get 99% of the whole base of the operation, what we see on TV, get it younger guys. Give the older guys a job in the back, not out in the TV. They need to start writing different storylines. Don't look like it's the NWO or Evolution or Four Horsemen. I mean, if you had Ric Flair coming out as a manager for the Four Horsemen, that'd be cool. And it could be done. But not the way it's done now. Uh, write totally new storylines. Do a new tournament like you did back in WrestleMania 4. Just totally scamble everything. Put some really good wrestling in there. I respect the fact that they have the open fight night. I respect the fact that they have the tag teams. The divas are even are looking more interesting than WWE, so their product does look fresh. But the real only problem that they have is they're paying too much for people like Hulk Hogan, Sting, and Flair, and everything else. So that when they have something special come in, like the hardcore crew from ECW, they're trying to rip them off. I read somewhere that they were given very minimal amount of money for their exposure and their commitment to wrestling. Uh, you know what? I'm sorry, but when it comes to ECW, it was fresh, had its own storylines. It relied on very few veterans and more on homemade talent. Their storylines were just awesome. It flowed. They traveled. They did everything they could to keep it interesting to the fans. And the only thing that killed it was greedy corporate TV stations like Spike. I will never invest a dime nor even tell anybody to invest a dime in them because they're a bunch of scumbags that ripped Paul Heyman off. Spike TV is nothing but a bunch of scam artists who stole. And if it wasn't for that, ECW today could be at the point where they could be a rival to WWE. And if TNA wants to sincerely get to the level of Vince McMahon, they should try to first step into the direction of ECW. ECW was very poor. They didn't have the money, but they still toured. They still did live. They did everything they could. And you know what? ECW did amazing. They were an amazing, phenomenal spectrum. And look at it today. Rob Van Dam, Shane Douglas, Raven, the Dudley Boys. Look at all the names that went on from ECW and made a name for themselves. The late Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho. So, I mean, obviously a low budget that really was nothing more than run out of garbage status because they didn't have the money. But for whatever reason, their home produced talent, their fresh storylines, and their traveling produced a huge nation of fans. So, I mean, Paul Heyman obviously done something right because it really wasn't garbage. It's more interesting than WWE in my opinion. If TNA could try to do something similar, get rid of their trash that they're spending so much money on, that's not really appearing in every shows or the house shows or anything like that, get rid of them, put some of them in the back, but start doing something fresh. Hey, if you need to bring Paul Heyman in and get some advice from him, do it. Hey, if I had the money to sit and make a new wrestling federation, and I had a chance to talk to Paul and see what his input was, see what he thinks I should do, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Why? Because he's man smart. And he's done something nobody else could do, and that includes a Ted Turner and Eric Bischoff, who had multi-billions of dollars to do it, and they still couldn't do it. Paul Heyman was the closest, and he didn't have the multi-million-dollar budget that they did. So, TNA, you want my honest opinion? There it is. Study Paul Heyman, find out what he did right, find out what he did wrong, stay away from Spike, get into new venue, start touring. Hey, I think TNA can make lots of money. I just don't want to see Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and all them do the same stuff they did 20, 30 years ago. Bored of it. Been there, done that, seen it. Even the 15-year-olds today don't want to see it because I can probably download it on the internet for free anyways. Let's make something fresh. That's it for TNA for today.